Look at your phone right now. Open your banking app. Are you staring at a number that makes your stomach drop? Maybe it is just a few $100s to your name. Maybe it is almost zero. Saving that very first $1,000 probably feels like trying to run a marathon in a pair of heavy work boots. You hear online experts claim that making $10,000 is easy once you get the ball rolling. You probably roll your eyes at them. You think to yourself that these people have no idea what your bills look like. But those experts are actually telling the truth. They are just leaving out the most crucial part of the puzzle. The reason your first $1,000 feels impossible has nothing to do with your paycheck. It is a mix of brutal psychology and hard science. This is exactly why so many people remain trapped in a cycle of financial stress forever. Welcome to Siraz Patwari. On this channel, we break down the hidden secrets of wealth building. We explore the exact reasons why some folks effortlessly grow their bank accounts, while others struggle for decades and end up with nothing. If you are exhausted by the endless paycheck-to-paycheck cycle, hit that subscribe button right now. We are about to uncover the mental warfare happening inside your head every time you try to save a single dime. Before we look at the fascinating math that proves this concept, let us think about wealth. When you picture a rich person, what comes to mind? You might imagine someone who was born with a silver spoon in their mouth. You might think they have some magical genetic trait for managing money. You might assume they never had to worry about rent or groceries. The reality might actually surprise you. The core difference between a wealthy person and a broke person is rarely about their salary. It is entirely about understanding the invisible mental traps that destroy your wallet. Your own brain is literally designed to ruin your financial future. This is not an exaggeration. Brain doctors and scientists have studied this for years. They use a term called temporal discounting. This is just a scientific way of saying that your mind prefers instant pleasure over future stability. Let us break that down into plain English. Your brain thinks buying a $50 takeout meal right now is an amazing idea. The food smells good, the taste is immediate, the satisfaction happens instantly. But if you try to put that same $50 into a savings account for retirement, your brain gets bored. The concept of a future wealthy version of yourself feels completely fake to your mind. Saving money feels like an absolute chore. But here's the amazing secret. The exact same mental trick that makes saving your first $1,000 so incredibly painful will eventually become your greatest weapon. Once you learn how to hack your own psychology, making the next $10,000 feels completely natural. We are going to expose these mental blocks. We will show you how to turn your mind into a wealth-generating machine. The very first obstacle you face is a concept known as the house money effect. Your brain is terrible at treating all money equally. Think about the money you earn from your daily job. You wake up early, you deal with traffic, you sit at a desk or work on your feet all day. When you get that paycheck, those dollars feel heavy. You worked hard for them. You are very careful about how you spend your hard-earned salary. But what happens when you find a $20 bill in an old jacket? What happens when you get a nice refund check from the government? What happens when a relative gives you cash for your birthday? Your brain treats this money completely differently. Your mind labels this cash as fun money. You suddenly feel the urge to buy something totally useless. You might go to an expensive restaurant. You might buy shoes you do not even need. This mental trap is a massive reason why high earners still end up broke. They separate their income into different mental buckets. The truth is that every single dollar holds the exact same value. A dollar from a tax refund can build your wealth just as effectively as a dollar from your salary. But your brain plays these tricky games to keep your bank account drained. Now let us talk about the invisible rules programmed into your head. Psychologists call these money scripts. These are deep beliefs about cash that you learned when you were just a little kid. You are still living by these rules today, even if you do not know it. Think back to your childhood. Did your parents constantly yell at each other about paying the bills? If so, your adult brain probably links money to intense fear and anger. Maybe you grew up hearing that rich people are evil. Maybe you were told that wanting more money makes you a greedy person. Because of these childhood lessons, you might subconsciously sabotage your savings because you feel guilty for wanting financial freedom. In some homes, money was a totally forbidden topic. Nobody ever talked about budgets or investments. If that sounds like your family, you probably feel deeply ashamed whenever you try to learn about personal finance. These hidden scripts control every swipe of your debit card. Most folks live their entire lives without ever challenging these old beliefs. The situation gets even wilder when you look at human history. Your brain was built to keep you alive in a dangerous wilderness. It was not built to help you open a stock market portfolio. Thousands of years ago, humans survived by consuming whatever they could find immediately. If a caveman found fresh fruit, he ate it right away. He could not put it in a refrigerator for next year. There was no guarantee he would even be alive tomorrow. Because of this, human beings evolved to crave instant gratification. We want our rewards today, not 10 years from now. When you attempt to put cash into a savings account, you are literally fighting against centuries of human evolution. Your brain panics. It tells you to spend that money on something you can hold in your hands right now. It asks you what will happen if the economy crashes tomorrow. It wonders if you are missing out on a once-in-a-lifetime shopping deal. This panic made sense for cavemen. It is completely crazy in the modern American economy. But your ancient brain does not know the difference. This deep biological battle is why getting to your first $1,000 feels like a monumental mountain climb. You are not just fighting inflation, you are fighting your own human nature. Every single time you choose to skip a purchase and save the cash instead, you are rewiring your mind. You are fighting your deepest instincts, and trust me, your brain will throw a temper tantrum. It will try to convince you to give up. But do not lose hope. Something truly unbelievable happens once you cross that magical $1,000 finish line. You hit a psychological tipping point. Your brain stops viewing savings as a punishment. It starts viewing savings as a massive victory. The mental gears shift entirely. Scientists call this phenomenon self-efficacy. This simply means you finally believe in your own power to achieve a goal. When your bank account reads zero, saving $10,000 sounds like a bad joke. Your brain cannot even picture it. So your brain refuses to even try. But the second you hit $1,000, the illusion shatters. You now have solid, physical proof that you are capable of building wealth. You realize you are the kind of person who can take control of their life. This is not just some positive thinking nonsense. This is proven human behavior. Studies show that people who cross the $1,000 mark are incredibly likely to keep going. Your brain writes a brand new story about who you are. You transform from a spender into an investor. Now we are going to look at the math. This is where the story gets really fun. The first $1,000 requires pure discipline. It requires you to spend less money than you bring home. But after that, a beautiful concept called compound interest steps into the ring. Compound growth means your money starts working for you. Your dollars go to work and hire more dollars. Then those new dollars go out and hire even more dollars. I want to show you the exact numbers. These numbers will permanently change how you view your paycheck. Let us imagine you decide to save exactly $100 every single month. I completely understand that $100 might sound like a massive sacrifice right now. It might feel completely impossible. Please stay with me because the math will blow your mind. If you save $100 a month, it will take you exactly 10 months to reach your first $1,000. Those 10 months will be brutal. You will have to say no to going out for drinks. You will have to skip the fancy drive-through coffee. Your friends might tease you for being cheap. You will feel like you are barely making a dent. Your brain will constantly show you advertisements for things you wish you could buy. Those 10 months will feel like a long, dark tunnel. But then the magic kicks in. You take that $1,000 and you invest it. You put it in a basic, safe index fund in the stock market. Let us assume it grows at a very normal historical rate of 7% a year. You also keep adding your $100 every single month. How long does the second $1,000 take? It does not take 10 months. It only takes about 9 months. Your brain might not celebrate that small change right away, but the snowball is rolling down the hill. What about the third $1,000? That one only takes 8.5 months. The fourth $1,000 drops down to under 8 months. By the time you are reaching for your first $10,000, each new $1,000 is taking you less than 6 months to achieve. This is the exact moment when most people experience a mental breakthrough. We are no longer just looking at a timeline. We are looking at passive income. Your money is out there hustling while you are fast asleep. Your money is working while you are stuck in traffic. Your money is growing while you are watching television on the couch. By the time your account hits $10,000, The investment returns are doing heavy lifting for you. At a 7% return rate, your $10,000 is creating roughly $700 of free money every single year. You did not have to lift a finger to earn that $700. That is basically equal to 7 months of your original savings plan, totally for free. When you see this happening, your brain completely changes sides. You stop checking your banking app with a feeling of terror. You start checking your accounts with pure joy. You look at those green arrows going up, and you realize the system actually works. The exact same mental triggers that used to make you crave a shopping spree are now making you crave a bigger investment portfolio. Building wealth becomes highly addictive in the best way possible. This is the stage where you start looking like a crazy person to your broke friends. You suddenly want to find ways to save even more cash. When tax season comes around, you do not want to buy a new television. You want to throw that refund straight into your investment account. When someone invites you to an overpriced dinner, you do not feel sad about missing out. You calculate how much that dinner would be worth in 10 years if you invested the cash instead. Your mind has successfully rewired itself. You no longer view saving money as a restriction. You finally understand that spending money on junk is the real restriction. Spending money keeps you trapped. Saving money buys your future. The deeper you go down this path, the more beautiful the math becomes. The bigger your pile of money gets, the less you actually have to work for it. Remember how painful it was to save that original $100 a month. Let us fast forward into the future. Imagine you eventually build an investment account of $50,000. At a 7% return, that account is generating around $3,500 a year entirely on its own. That is nearly $300 every single month of completely passive growth. Your money is now generating 3 times more cash than your original monthly savings goal. At this stage of the game, you could theoretically stop adding your own money, and the account would just keep expanding forever. But the funny thing is, nobody ever stops. Once you taste this kind of progress, you want more. You start saving with fierce intensity. You realize you are not just hoarding paper bills, you are buying your own freedom. This brings us to the ultimate secret of the rich. Wealthy people do not look at money as a way to buy fancy objects. They look at money as a way to buy options in life. When your bank account is empty, your life choices are severely limited. You have to endure a toxic boss because you need the paycheck to pay the rent. You have to live in a neighborhood you dislike because it is all you can afford. You constantly make choices based on survival rather than happiness. But what happens when you have $20,000 or $50,000 sitting safely in an investment account? The entire world opens up. You can confidently walk away from a terrible job. You can take a leap of faith and start your own small business. You can invest in new skills or education. You have a massive safety net sitting beneath you. This concept of freedom is why successful individuals always say the first $100,000 is the biggest hurdle. The math is definitely a huge factor, but the mental transformation is the real prize. You completely reinvent your identity. You prove to yourself that you are a winner. Sadly, the vast majority of the population will never experience this feeling. They give up during those painful first 10 months. They look at their tiny savings balance and get frustrated. They convince themselves the system is broken. They never realize they were just inches away from the finish line. They never reach the tipping point where the math takes over. The people who survive the early struggle discover a hidden truth. Achieving wealth does not mean suffering forever. It means making temporary sacrifices until your money is big enough to do the hard work for you. There is another incredible side effect that nobody mentions. When you start seeing the power of compound interest, your daily habits transform automatically. You become obsessed with efficiency. You start looking for side hustles just so you have more capital to invest. You finally start paying attention to hidden banking fees and high-interest credit cards. You realize that a $20 fee today could cost you hundreds of dollars in lost future growth. You start planning your life 10 or 20 years in advance instead of worrying about the upcoming weekend. This proactive mindset spreads into your health and your relationships. You value your time much more strictly. Meanwhile, you will notice your broke friends are stuck in a time loop. They are making the exact same bad choices they made a decade ago. They still complain about being broke, Yet they still finance brand new cars they cannot afford just to impress strangers at stoplights. They still eat at restaurants every single day for lunch because they think cooking is too much work. They get raises at their job, but their bank account never goes up. They upgrade their lifestyle instantly to match their new income. They are trapped in the illusion of looking rich while actually being completely impoverished. It can be incredibly frustrating to watch folks complain about the economy while actively destroying their own wealth. You will see people drop $100 at a bar on a Friday night and then claim they cannot afford to save $50 a month for emergencies. You will watch people finance a $1,000 smartphone for 3 years, but they will tell you the stock market is a scam. The lack of logic is truly mind-boggling. This brings up a point that might make you laugh or might make you cringe. The average working citizen spends significantly more money on drive-through coffee in a single year than they hold in their emergency savings account. Please take a second to process that fact. Millions of folks are more financially dedicated to their morning sugar rush than they are to protecting their family from a crisis. Then they lay awake at night, wondering why they feel so much anxiety about their bills. Let me be clear. I am not here to yell at you for buying a cup of coffee. This is about understanding the simple math of small choices. Just like investments grow over time, your daily expenses also compound over time. They just compound in the wrong direction and drain your future. Let us look at a basic $5 daily habit. $5 a day on a weekday adds up to around $1,300 over a single year. That is $1,300 gone forever. It vanishes in exchange for a few minutes of flavor. Now, what if you took that exact same $1,300 and dropped it into a simple market fund earning 7%? If you did that every year for 10 years, you would have over $18,000. If you kept it up for 20 years, that daily habit is worth well over $50,000. Your morning drink literally robbed your future self of $50,000. When you look at the math from that angle, brewing your own coffee at home does not feel like a punishment anymore. It feels like a brilliant business move. Unfortunately, standard financial advice completely ignores the human element. Gurus love to scream at you to cut up your credit cards and stop buying avocado toast, but they fail to explain the emotional trauma driving those purchases. People do not blow their paychecks because they are stupid. They blow their paychecks because they are trying to fix an emotional problem. Millions of workers buy fast food on their lunch break because they are absolutely miserable at their desks. That greasy burger is the only source of joy in a terrible 8-hour shift. People buy expensive clothes on credit because they feel lonely or invisible, and the shopping bag provides a quick burst of excitement. People waste cash on endless subscriptions because they are bored with their daily routine. You cannot fix a deeply emotional problem with a simple math equation. Screaming at a depressed person to stop buying shoes is entirely useless. You have to address the root cause of the behavior. This is exactly why getting to your first $1,000 is such a brutal mental war. You are not just rearranging numbers on a spreadsheet, you are changing how you cope with life. You are forcing yourself to find happiness in long-term security instead of short-term thrills. You are unlearning decades of brainwashing that convinced you buying stuff makes you happy. The individuals who successfully cross this bridge do not rely on sheer willpower. Willpower always runs out eventually. Instead, they replace their bad habits with highly rewarding new habits. Instead of getting a rush from scanning a new item at the register, they train themselves to get a rush from logging into their brokerage account. Instead of feeling proud of a new luxury watch, they feel proud of hitting a new net worth milestone. This psychological transition is incredibly powerful. One random morning, you will wake up and realize you are more excited about a $50 dividend payment than you are about buying a new video game. That is the ultimate sign of victory. That is the moment the game changes forever. When you combine a healthy mind with the power of compound interest, the results are explosive. Let us run one final scenario. When you eventually build a portfolio of $100,000, a modest 7% return will generate roughly $7,000 a year. That is almost $600 every single month of pure, invisible income. That covers your groceries, your gas, and your utility bills. You have literally built a mechanical employee that pays for your survival. This mechanical employee does not sleep. It does not demand a vacation. It works through the holidays. So the reality is completely in your hands. Saving your first $1,000 is going to be a stressful, emotional battle against your own biology. But once you shatter that barrier, the mathematical forces of the universe step in to help you. You can either close this video and go back to your old spending habits, or you can draw a line in the sand today. You can choose to endure the temporary struggle for a lifetime of freedom. Your future wealthy self is waiting for you to make the right choice. Thank you so much for joining me today on Siraz Patwari. If this video changed your perspective on money, please make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our wealth-building secrets. Drop a comment below and let me know what financial habit you are going to change today. Stay focused, keep saving, and I will see you in the next video.